Have you ever wondered why some people end up moving out of a 55 and older community? Well, I get the chance to speak with sellers in these communities almost every single day, so I actually get to ask. And in this video, I'm going to share the honest answers that I hear about why people make the decision to leave a senior community. Hi, my name is Casey, and I specialize in helping seniors buy and sell homes in 55 and older communities like Trilogy, Glen Ivy, and the community of Terramor. And because of this, I get to talk to a lot of people who actually live in these communities. And one thing I'm always curious about when I see a for sale sign go up in a front yard is, why are they selling? And I know I can't be the only one that wonders about this, but some of the answers might surprise you. So let's jump in and go over the top 5 reasons why people leave 55 and older communities. Number 1, health issues. 55 and older communities are a great place for active seniors. But if someone's health changes and they start needing more day-to-day assistance, these communities just aren't set up for that kind of care. And in these cases, people often have to make a tough decision. Sometimes they're lucky enough to move in with a family member that's willing to help. But in more serious cases, they may need to transition into an assisted living facility to get the care they really need. And this can trigger the need to sell their home. Number 2, the death of a spouse or a loved one. Now again, this is another really tough situation that can lead to having to sell a home. Losing a spouse or a loved one is a very emotional time, and for some, staying in the same home just is too painful and isn't an option. So moving to another home can be a fresh start, and others choose to move closer to family or friends for support. Plus, losing a spouse can dramatically change a person's financial situation too. So even if a person wants to stay in their current home, sometimes it's just not financially possible. Number 3, the community wasn't what they expected. Believe it or not, this happens more often than you might think. Maybe they expected more social events and activities, or maybe the rules were more strict than they realized, or maybe the overall vibe just wasn't what they were expecting. But there are times when a community just isn't a good fit. So if you've moved into a senior community and find out that it's not what you expected, then selling and moving on definitely makes sense. Number 4, divorce. Another reason we see homes for sale in a senior community is something called gray divorce. Now this refers to a growing number of couples aged 55 and older who decide to separate later in life. And believe it or not, it's becoming a lot more common. And even though overall divorce rates have gone down slightly, divorce among seniors is actually increasing. And for couples going through this situation, it's very common for them to decide to sell their home, divide their assets, and move on. And number 5, moving to be closer to family. And this is by far the most common reason I hear from people selling in a senior community. The reality is, a lot of seniors really want to be closer to their family, especially their adult kids and their grandkids. And we see this situation a lot when adult kids have to move to another city or even another state because of their job. And rather than seeing their family just once or twice a year, many seniors decide to move too so they can spend time with their family. And I see this situation happen a lot in our local senior communities. So as you can see, there are a lot of reasons why people move out of 55 and older communities. Some are triggered by tough life changes, things like failing health, the death of a loved one, or even a divorce. And sometimes people just realize that a community just wasn't a good fit. But most of the time, it's simply about wanting to be closer to family. And honestly, I think that's a pretty good reason to move. But like I mentioned earlier, sometimes people discover that living in a senior community just wasn't what they expected. And to be honest, there are some drawbacks. And I recently recorded a video about this topic. So if you're curious about some of the negative things about senior communities, you can check it out by clicking the link up above. Now thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.